morning. It is 21 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in the studio this morning, Superintendent for the Roswell Independent School District, Brian Luck, back with us. Good morning.
Yes, sir. Good morning.
How are you doing? Happy Friday.
Yes, sir. Happy spring break Friday with a quarter of an inch of snow on the ground.
That's right. Well, and that's what I think I said something this morning. I was like, it's okay, kids. You're going to be off all next week.
That's right.
You can suck it up for one more day, get through today. It's Friday.
Yes.
I'm sure this is for folks that don't have tests and things to take care of. Today's usually probably a little bit, especially elementary stuff. They probably do a little less on days like this than days, than they would normally.
Well, you just kind of have like the perfect storm. I mean, one, it's a Friday. Two, the weather's changed, and it's spring break. I mean,
sure.
Those kids, I'm sure, are very calm in those classrooms right now.
They're very cooperative and calm, and not anxiously excited to get through today.
Yes.
And not showing that, but yeah. So.
My mom always used to tell me that she could tell when the weather was going to change because of the way the kids would act. And
give them less sugar today; they don't need it.
No. I think you're good there today.
Yeah. Well, Brian always joins us here, during the school board meeting, which they met earlier this week, and so we're going to talk highlights and everything from that. But before we do, anything district-wide we want to let know of? I know there was. For folks, sports got a little moved around today. I think most people involved know that. If you're hoping to watch some baseball this morning online or out at the you're probably crazy if you want to sit in those bleachers this morning to watch baseball, but you do you. Those got pushed later today. Tonight, we'll see some of those games there this morning. We'll have them on the radio. They're going to be out at the ballparks this evening. Unless some weird thing happens with this weather, but it looks like we'll be good to go for this afternoon.
Kind of looks like it. I haven't heard anything yet, but you've got Goddard this afternoon. The game was supposed to start at 1 o'clock. I think it's still on for 1 o'clock.
Okay.
I haven't heard anything any different.
But monitor closely as they might have to make a game time decision on whether to push it back or whatever.
Ironically, I think we were prepared for the cold. The moisture might get us. If we could get some sun coming out here pretty quick, I think we'll be okay. But because that field's pretty dry. Yeah. So I think it could take it.
Good. Okay. Yeah, and baseball and softball are used to playing in the wind. That's what they do every year. So it is
not
the snow in the wind, but in the wind.
Well, and some of that too. Like the track meet last night. I mean, the people that go to those events and have gone to them for a while, they plan ahead, and they've got multiple sets of clothes. And
if you're a spring sport,
yes, sir,
you got to be prepared for the wind. That's the nature of the beast,
yeah, and it is the labor of love when you look up there and you see the parents in the stands watching that. So
absolutely, and that's why you're thankfully starting to see a lot of more turfs go with like the fake fields and so. Which is good for dust when it comes in the wind and it doesn't blow that much around so much. So that's kind of a blessing in disguise.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. But anyway, if you're involved with some sports the next day or here, check, stay close to your teams. The odds are pretty good that things are moving around or things are going to get kind of last minute or crunching on folks here for to deal with some of this stuff. So just be prepared. That's all. It might come down the pike here. So.
Sure.
But as far as school board the other night, how was it pretty busy meeting, or is it relatively slow compared to meetings in the past? Or?
Well, I tell you what, we've had a couple meetings. The last month and then this month's meeting have been a little lengthy, and not for the fact that we were conducting monster business. Is just we had a couple of really major projects that we were trying to get unfolded and get unloaded to our new board members, and so this last one was a pretty big project on dual credit and CTE and career pathways. Okay. And our instruction department has done a really good job with kind of making this the year that we do this. So I've been in at the high school level 25 years, give or take, and I've been hearing for 23 of those years, well, this is what we're going to do, this is what we're going to do, and we finally have done it.
Right.
And we've got the plan in place, we've got the people in place, and presented that to the board the other night and had a ton of industry partners. So here in a minute, I would love to publicly thank them. But,
absolutely.
Just kind of got a chance to unroll that and then just conducted some regular business after that.
Good deal. Yeah, because that's the amazing, because that requires a lot of partnerships for the dual credit and those kind of things, because in essence, you're asking other education, other partnering entities to kind of line up with the way you guys do things, and vice versa. And so, when you look at the college and how college does things, and you look at the second or high school and so forth, those educations, they're not always the same, or they don't always. And with these dual credit and stuff, it kind of makes it to where now these are seamlessly transferred.
Right.
So it's really a great way to get everybody on the same page. And so at the end of the day, it's going to be more beneficial for our student staff, because when people transfer or people just, pursue things, they're actually doing more that points directly at that earlier in their schooling careers. And that's a good thing.
Well, and it's interesting because, and again, we've been working on this for, a little more in depth for probably about the last 8 years. And one of the early concerns was, well, you're identifying my kiddo early on in their educational career, and you're pocketing them into a particular place, and then they're forced to go do that. And that is totally not the answer whatsoever.
Sure.
What we try to do is early on is identify areas of interest, and then like in their 9th grade year, they can kind of experiment with different subjects or different classes to try to figure out what would hang on to them.
Yeah, it's not them committing down a path.
No, oh no.
It's them exploring other paths to find ones that they're hopefully giving them an opportunity to find their niche.
Right.
So when they are seniors and when they are at that point where it's time to graduate, they've got A, some credits under their belt, but B, have a clear direction on where they want to go. And so maybe that college degree they're pursuing is going to be there's a greater chance they're going to like what they're doing when they get that degree, as opposed to saying, I just spent 4 years of college. Turns out I hate this career field,
Oh, I have heard more stories of parents coming back with kiddos from school that said, they did the first 3 years with a declared major, and they get to, the meat and potatoes of that degree plan, and they don't like it. Or heaven forbid, you've got kids that have graduated, or adults that have graduated, and they're like, I don't like this. This is not what I'm after.
And now they get more time to kind of investigate that a little bit and see if it's something they like.
It's a safety net, because you can do that while you're at the house. You've got your parents you can knock ideas off of. You've got the kids that start with the dual credit, and they're taking college classes their junior, senior year, and their parents are still there, so that that when you get to college and you kind of
they're better prepared to be college students.
Exactly. You go a little crazy. Well, you know what? You've already done 12 hours, 16 hours worth of your basics, and that's at the two larger high schools. So early college high school is set up in such a really, really crazy, neat way that those kids walk out with an associate's. And I know several of those kids walk out with 2 associates. But like our two larger high schools, your Goddard, your Roswell, you have the opportunity to try something or to maybe not have a particular area that you want to go, but we're going to get you lined up with some of your basics. Your English 1, 2 at the college, your college algebra, and then maybe a statistics or something like that. So that when you get wherever you're going, you got something under your belt.
I'm curious, just, while we're talking about this, like I remember when I was in high school as a kid, and this is back in Maryland, that they used to make us take a test, and it was this whole like skills assessment test, and at the end of the day you take the test and they say you'd be a good farmer or you'd be a good I'm sure that's antiquated and they don't do it that way anymore, but I almost kind of feel like this is the more modern, efficient version of that a little bit. You know?
And that we're actually going to start working with that earlier. So as we have your 7th graders, your 8th graders, and some pre-counseling that goes on with that, where you do just interest inventories, and if they'll take it serious, the results that they'll get back will be beneficial to them and to their parents. And then from that, then you can start looking at stuff. So, being in the high school for all the years that I have been, no high school kid wants to stick around their hometown. They're going to go anywhere but here.
It will spread their wings.
And that's fine. And we encourage them to do whatever they're looking for to be able to do. But the reality is a lot of them stay here.
Sure.
And
they go and spread their wings and realize the grass isn't so green over there. And they come
their
back.
families are here. And you know what? It dawns on them, about 18, 19 and a half.
Your support system's here.
Yeah, my family is really important to me. And they knew what they were talking about all along. So part of the other part to that is we want to be able to bring we want to produce a product that Roswell can take and utilize.
Sure.
And so when we started talking with our industry partners and our business, leaders, they were like, we're desperate. We need people now.
Yeah.
And whatever we can do to help, they're willing to do, and they've
Sure.
lined up at the door to help us.
Absolutely. And I think it like you were just saying earlier about people want to spread wings and things like that. And obviously you look at, say, our ENMUR here, which you guys partner with a lot of stuff and working with. But, they're kind of their job, their stamp is to really provide qualified people to service our community. That's part of their game plan, part of their mantra, part of what they do. And so this really feeds it, because now you're seeing high school kids and they're saying in high school and early, and they're like, you know what? I could go into the nursing program through here, and next thing you know, I'm making a great career right here in town.
Right.
And so they're learning about that stuff at the high school level and understanding it. So it is a farm system in a way, but it's also for good for our community as well as our youth. And so whether they take this stuff and say, you know what, I met the girl of my dreams or wherever, and or the guy of my dreams, and we settle in Texas or wherever it is, life happens. I get all that.
Oh, yeah.
But like you said, you're right. If they're going through here and they're saying, you know what, I could go get my A&P licensing. Next thing you know, I'm working at the Air Center down here, and all that's because I learned about that stuff through dual credit in high school, and now they've got their game plan in. So by the time they're ready to graduate high school, they're fully into that program, and they can go seamlessly into the nursing program or some of these other specialty programs the college has there. And every one of those people, when they complete that program, are getting jobs lined up, boom, right here in town. Some before they even graduate, they got jobs lined up.
Well, and yes. So, I mean, everything you just said, yes.
All of that creates that, and that's what we're talking about.
And again, you tie that with the fact that maybe not everybody has some of the resources. I mean, resources aren't necessarily equal within each household. And we're going to pick up the fee for that. So our dual credit classes, we're paying for your kiddos' college algebra class, or we're paying for their welding class at the college. And that's just, you can't beat
about that part. It's free college.
You can't beat that.
Yeah, it's giving your student such a leg up on whatever they want to do. But at the same time, doesn't lock them into that either.
No.
And so they're still in high school. They're still young. And skill sets translate. Maybe they were doing all this air conditioning stuff. As it turned out, I don't like this work.
Right.
But you know what? I love working with my hands, and now they're carpenters, or now they're something else. But that's not wasted time. That's them learning the skills and learning, and that's, and then even if it's a physical trade type stuff. Right. That's something you're going to use your whole life, whether it's to feed your family or to just take care of your own personal needs. That's going to be skills that go with you the rest of your life.
Well, it does tie a perfect storm together, because I know there's people out there right now that are listening to this and they're saying, see, I've told you guys for years, they need a school for these kids to learn. And yes, we're going to teach our kids this, but the end result for us is I want to tie them with a useful skill to graduation.
Sure.
Because that education is something that nobody can ever take away from them.
Absolutely.
Life can change lots of things, and jobs can come and go, but that education is something no one can ever take
that
from you.
piece of paper is your foot in the door, and because it tells people that you can complete something. At the end of the day, when they see you are a college graduate or a high school graduate, that's telling a business or someone that this person has the maturity and the dedication to see a task from the beginning to the end. If nothing else, that's what that diploma tells person about you.
Well, in the thought here is if we can find something that encourages a student to come to school, a class, a subject, something that they like, they will be more willing to try to gut it out and some of the things that they may not like. Mm-hmm. And if we can front load early the classes that they have identified as these are the careers I like, then we work with them on the other. It's not, hey, we don't alter standards, we don't do anything like that.
Sure.
But there is a mechanism that we've shown them what the value is. So, like for instance, we have Fulkerson Plumbing and Roads Construction, and they have graciously offered up people. So we actually have employees from their industry, their business, that go over and they teach our kids.
That's amazing.
And
love that.
And we're in the beginning stages of that.
And sure, and it's great for our community, but also these businesses see the importance of this, because at the end of the day, this is them, getting basically building their qualified skilled
they're
people
recruiting.
too. Yeah, this is them
They're
looking.
recruiting.
And so it's really a great thing. It really is to have. And to me, I think that's how we keep kids in school. We talk about dropout rates and things. It's because these kids are dropping out because they think there's a better opportunity somewhere else. At the end of the day, that's what it is.
Right.
I don't care, the minutia of I'm mad at parents or whatever it is.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, they think they're getting a better opportunity by leaving school now.
Right.
And I think these kind of programs change that mindset. They're saying, no. Okay, you're in school now, and we're now not going to be rocket scientists. We're all, not everyone's going to go on and be the person that invents the big chemical thing that we need in our life or whatever it is. But, all of us are going to play a role in making this future great, whether it's making sure that people in our neighborhood have all the power they need or have all the amenities they need. That's where this is all about, and this is that partnership we're talking
That's right.
about here.
Well, I'd like to go through some of these real quick, just to kind of give you our boardroom was full. It was kind of intimidating because you're looking out going, oh my gosh, what are we doing tonight?
It's all the business community
And then it's all the
leaders.
business guys. I'm like, oh, okay, we're good. It's the business guys. So you've got, like I said, we've got Trent Bates with Roads Construction, Braxton Fulkerson HVAC and Plumbing, Bull Johnson with Cavu, your air industry, Robert Sherman Walker Aviation Museum, Warren Yale Eastern New Mexico Medical Center, Dorothy Helms with Burrow University, and a lot of people don't know, we have a medical school in Las Cruces, and they have their kids rotate through our area.
Oh, cool.
And so that group has come in. They've done hands-on activities.
So they need to outreach with it and come out and visit our students.
Yes.
Very cool.
It has been really neat. Mike Espiritu with Chaves County Economic Development. I know Mike's coming through here with you guys, but if
Mike's plugged into everything.
If you don't know, if you'll stand next to him long enough, you'll get excited about
He's a good guy to know.
Oh, man. I tell you what, Steve Starkey with Eastern Roswell, Kay Myers and their Gear Up team, again, out at Eastern. And we've got some other agencies with TRIO, which is they come in and they work with our kids. They counsel. They take them on field trips. I mean, if you've got a need, these people can help you. And that would be Danny Herrera, Daniela Garcia, Heidi Weeks, Rosie Rand, and Paula Perez. With TRIO and the TRIO team and talent search, it is just it was so. And I've said this at lots of the board meetings, and everybody just kind of looks at me like it's cliche-ish. Our timing is so right to take a chance on something, and I feel really strongly about this one because it's successful. We have been to conferences where we've seen other districts that have done things like this. I was at one in San Antonio where I saw a school district that they actually owned a subdivision.
Wow.
The district owned a subdivision
For their incoming teachers and things. They need a place to live.
Ironically, they would sell houses to the people, but the kids would build the houses.
Oh, wow. What a cool idea.
The industry would come in. They would partner with the district. They would help them build. They would use their licenses. They would get things done. And then they had worked it up to the point where
what a novel concept.
They had money in the bank, and the businesses were lining up because what would happen is every year when those kids would graduate, there was 45, 50 kids that were ready to step into their industry.
Sure.
And not be apprentice. I mean, they were ready to actually be on their own because they'd already done the work.
Yeah, they're fully educated and trained to do what they got to do. That's amazing. I love that concept.
Oh, I tell you what, if anybody would like to donate a subdivision, we would be more than
we'd be
willing to
I think there's
live
enough
with
business
that.
community leaders that we could easily, or I think we could put something together like at least something in that line. I don't know if it's exactly the same, but
so like when you talk about like large ideas or pie in the sky kind of a thing, that ultimately would be some of the things we're chasing is just, and I'm not saying we're chasing a subdivision, but things like that where you've got kids in your community that aren't walking out of your schools without a way to contribute back to your community.
We all live in this community here, and we all, you hear the old cliche, "It takes a village," and I think that's one of those proof of it takes a village type things. It requires those partner entities. It's not sure the Roswell Independent School District has been charged with the task of educating our children here in Roswell, New Mexico. However, they cannot do it by themselves without parental support, without family support, without businesses and communities contributing to the education of our kids through programs like this or through partnerships like we're talking about here, or creating dual credit situation. All of that works in that, because there's no way the RISD by themselves could make sure every point that we're trying to get into our children gets there. It takes our colleges, it takes our businesses, it takes our churches, it takes our families to do all of that. And this is really evidence of what that can be when we do work together.
Right. And I'll say this too, is as the last 3 weeks and the next 5 weeks, give or take, as our schools are getting ready to schedule things, and you've got students or grandkids or something like that, ask them about it. Say, hey, you know what, I heard something on the radio the other day, and tell me what you're thinking. Because that's part of it is your kiddos, and you've watched them grow up. The things they like, the things they don't like. You've watched them morph into the humans that they are.
Right.
And you really are their best advocate. You're the best advocate for them, even with them.
Sure.
Get involved with that.
Yeah.
And if they have questions about it, contact their high schools. Not so much the middle schools right now, but more the high schools is the area that we're really looking to push on.
Well, it's one of those things, and we're talking about careers, and so yeah. But once it's succeeding in the high school and we're seeing it there, then you're like, all right, well, let's start them younger, and we'll start introducing some of this into the middle schools, and who knows, maybe in the elementary schools someday. They're when they're got to at least get their beaks wet about possibilities and career fields and things like that.
Well, and the buzzword with that is pathways. So as you walk in as a ninth grader, you have an opportunity to look at a pathway, i.e. a degree plan, for those of us over, 30, a degree plan.
Well, it's like when you're kids and you're like, and boys, it's always like, I want to be a firefighter. I want to be a police officer. Women, I want to be a teacher is a very popular one when you're young and things. And now, now these are the types of things like, awesome. Here's, obviously you're not telling a first or second grader the path to becoming a teacher, but you're also kind of saying, you're giving them the path without being but doing it at a level they understand. It's like, oh, you want to be a teacher? Well, you're going to have to study this stuff and start looking there. You want to be a firefighter? All right, we make sure you be physically, study hard in school, but make sure you're physically fit so you can handle some of that stuff. And so, that's the kind of stuff you can plant the seeds with,
Well, now I want to be an influencer. I want to be a gamer. I want so you're fighting some of that, but it's interesting you say the firefighter, because one of the down the road kind of deals, as soon as we can get some of the logistics worked out, one of them is a pathway where the kids will walk out the door with a little bit of an EMT basic, where they could
first responder,
where they could step in and actually when they hit the right age, they could actually walk over to the Roswell Fire Department and apply,
go to their academy and do all they got to do
with credentials that you would get in the academy. So I mean. And again, it just makes you more marketable. And then, if you start rolling that kind of stuff out, it only makes your community better when you have people like that in there.
Absolutely, especially when you've got industries that are almost and first response first comes to think of that's like a tradition family type industry. And what I mean by that is many of the folks that are cops or firefighters or first respond or EMT or whatever. My mom or my dad was a cop or a firefighter.
Multi-generational.
That's very common in that.
Right.
So I think that's part of that too. I love that. I love the fact that we're making this is more attempts at making the theories and the things you learn in school and gives these kids a practical reason why they need to know this at that age.
Yes, sir.
I think that when we grew up going through school, I think there's some of the disconnects there, and why now we're so hard in STEM and that side of thing. I think when we were in school, I think that disconnect was there because they're all teaching us the formulas and teaching us why these math, but they don't give us why we need to know this.
Right.
And so we're sitting in there going, why am I sitting in this calculus class? Because I'm never going to do any of this stuff here. And now we show career-related stuff, and it's like, yes, you're going to need calculus. Here's why. Or what, trigonometry is important. Here's why. And I think if we get more into the here's why, then the kids and stuff are gonna be and see why it's they're gonna be more involved rather than they're gonna get class out and be like, I don't care about this. I'm never going to use it. I'm moving on to something that I'm going to use.
Well, you have several schools in this area, Lake Arthur, several schools. I think Goddard's got a couple teams that'll go down by JAL here in another month or so, and they'll actually launch rockets that go high enough that they actually have to map off the airspace. So, I mean, it's a no-fly zone in that area because these rockets go that high.
Yeah.
And the high school kids are the ones that are building them. And, it's, like I said, it's no pun intended, but the sky really is the limit with that. Again, great work by really all the team there at the school district.
I'm glad to hear it.
Because it's got to be, you have to have the right teachers in place. So that involves human resources. You got to have the money. So that's money people. And then the instructional component, and it will be really, really neat and a humongous feather in everybody's hat once we get this pushed through and start to see the results.
And like you said, and none of this would happen without those business partnerships and connections.
Yes, thank you.
So you're investing well into our futures by doing that.
Absolutely.
We do appreciate that. So is there any other highlights from the meeting last night that we got just wrapped up in this other thing we didn't get a chance to share?
No, we had a couple presentations about some of the other work that we're doing and just some general stuff. I'm trying to look through here real quick.
Oh, by the way, Tanner just texted me. I'm guessing he got word. It looks like, am I looking at the right one here? Sorry, I think
Tanner has a new schedule for us.
Looks like today's games were canceled for the Goddard tournament.
Okay.
It looks like that's official now. So just Tanner was just telling me he's probably plugged in way more than I am on that stuff. So
and I can see that. I mean, like I said, there probably looks like it's just enough moisture that it's not going to get dried up. So.
Does that come from Britt Cooper, who makes
it's universal.
on those decisions, or does that come down to coaches and stuff?
A little bit. Coaches and umpires, and I mean the coaches are the ones that are going to prep the field. So if we can't get the field right and the umpires deem it not safe, we won't do it.
Gotcha. I didn't know if it was a call that comes from the AD or comes from the boots on the ground, so to speak.
A little bit of everybody.
Gotcha.
I mean, I think everybody collaborates with that.
Okay.
Just real quick, our Mountain View water line is progressing. I want to thank the work with the city and the contractor there that's working on that. Mesa Construction is moving right along. I mean, I am super excited to see the results of that. We're in the still processing the design phase for Nancy Lopez. Let me rephrase that again. We have not decided anything on that. There's nothing in stone. We're still seeking public comment, but getting closer and closer to pushing that.
You kind of got to get an idea. It's closer
at some point, right?
But we're still trying to dot the I's and cross the T's.
That's right. That's right. The other two big ones for me really would be at one point in time we were looking at what we were calling asynchronous Mondays, and we have suspended that. We're not doing that anymore. We're not. So if parents have days on their calendars, they're like, well, this was a Monday that they said they weren't doing it.
Yeah, nobody liked it, so
it just didn't. It didn't grow legs, and I'm not gonna push something through that I don't feel is productive.
Everyone's fighting you on it. Maybe we shouldn't do it.
There was some positive to it, but I think the negative outweighed the positive. Sure. And I mean.
Well, but that's part of what you guys do. And we're in COVID, so you're just, hey, let's try something, see if it works. This one didn't work, so let's move on. Yeah.
Next, and I think going forward, I did get a ton of good ideas that could come out of that. But,
good. Okay.
But that is something that I just want to make sure that if you've got that marked on your calendars, get that off.
You can ignore it. We're just in school.
We've hit spring break. That's coming up. And then the last thing that I really want to say thank you to is our security guards and our admin. That I mean, we lived through indoor COVID mask requirements, and we had the public come in and out, and they were the front lines. I mean, they took a ton of abuse that really wasn't warranted to them, and I want to, I mean, we've said thank you, but I can't say thank you enough because I had people that I've known most of my life that would come up and they're just they're defeated, and it was. Brian, all we're trying to do is our job.
Absolutely.
And us, I complimented him on it. And
you have a bunch of passionate people, which the RSD is full of. People that are passionate for these kids, passionate for their jobs, and parents that are equally passionate about their kids and their families. And anytime there's that much passion on board,
right.
Tempers rise, emotions can happen, and the adults in the room sometimes, when our security and those folks have to do that, we can never thank them enough for that kind of stuff.
Well, and I mean, not to frame it all as just negative. I mean, we had several people that were like, I'm doing this for you guys, and thank them too, thank the community. But as we transition to outdoor spring sports, if we could all remember and take about 3 deep breaths and let's start our anxiety levels down at zero again, because our umpires, a lot of our umpires are the same people that have done soccer, and they've done softball, and they've done other things. And
Absolutely.
and they, they deserve.
They're out there because they care about the kids and they care about the sport.
So cut them a little slack if we could, and we'll finish up the year. I'm excited about getting this done.
Absolutely. Yeah. And by the way, if you're not liking what you're seeing and would love to volunteer over there, they'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
And they can use more umpires, referees, officials, every sport, you name it, they need more of them. So please, if you don't like it, you think you can do better, let's get you a whistle and some credentials and get you out there and get you going. So.
Oh, and they'll take you in. The neat thing about the local associations, and I have no idea how I got into this one, but is they train. I mean, they really do. It's a neat group of individuals, men and women. They take it serious.
Absolutely.
And they want to put a good product out, and I can assure you, because like I said, I joined the basketball one a couple years ago. I didn't get to do it this year, but it's not all everybody thinks it is.
Right.
I'll say that, but thank you to those people that have helped, and thank you to the fans that have come through and have lived through this, and
keep supporting the kids, keep supporting
keep
the
it
programs,
going, and thank you for the sponsors that have stepped up and helped out. So
absolutely, and
much appreciated.
And then good luck to all the athletes here in the spring sports as they go. And here in about a month or so, we're going to be talking about playoffs all over again here, and graduation and everything else. Yeah, it's all right around the corner.
Next year.
It's all downhill after spring break, it seems like, right? It just I mean, it goes by quick anyway, but it seems like once spring break is over, it just seems like you can't keep up with everything. I just always that from spring break till graduation, it feels like it's just fast and furious,
Yeah, I coached basketball, and so that was always my judge. Is when basketball was over, it just was such a blur, which is now.
Yeah.
I mean, you got state tournament going on this weekend.
Wrapping up. Yeah.
Got cheer and dance next weekend, so good luck to them.
Yeah.
Up in Albuquerque, both schools got both squads going up, so good luck to them.
Yeah, they're going to be out performing and all that this weekend out there, so definitely. Of course, want to remind folks, you can always watch the school board meetings. They're open to the public. They're always that second Tuesday of the month.
Yes, sir.
At the RSD building, which is just a couple blocks over here off is that Pennsylvania or I never remember the streets.
The actual address, I think, is 300 North Kentucky.
Kentucky. Okay, it's one of those.
But you come in the back, which is off of Lee.
Yeah,
so
exactly. It's right there in the district there. And of course, you can watch online as well. They put them up. If you go to the RISD's website. Just type RSD or Roswell Independent School District. It's like the R-K dot. It's a lot of dots. So rather than do all that, just go Google. There's no point trying to tell people that on the radio. It's like -K.12. No one remembers that. So just independent RSD or Roswell Med School District,
Roswell, New Mexico,
and you'll get the website there, and then you'll find the link to watch not only the meeting from earlier this week, but last couple years worth of meetings there if you'd like to check them out. So, and of course, you can be at the meetings too in public.
Love to have you. Love to have you.
Excellent. Is there anything we missed? Did we get all?
I think I'm good. I really do. I positive. We had a lot. And again, like I said, that was a little bit of a longer meeting because of all of that.
But I love those business partners. I hope there's more and more of that down the pike here, because I think, to be honest, I think that's the linchpin to keep kids in school longer, to get them, because I think kids drop out because they feel like there's something better and they're ready to do it now. And I think programs like this remind them, it could be, but it's going to be so much better if you stick it out and finish it here.
Right.
Get the certificates to go with your knowledge, and now you're writing your own ticket.
Well, and if you can walk out of Roswell High or Goddard High School with 16 college credit hours to your name, I mean, you're walking into a school, and maybe not. Maybe you get your certifications.
Yeah.
Maybe you get your safety certifications, and you're going to go over to apply for a job in the oil field as a welder.
Yeah.
I mean, it can only benefit you.
And obviously, if you graduate high school and you've got your associates under your belt, at that point, the beauty of it now, and if you stay in New Mexico to go to school, all that transfers seamlessly. So if you're going to UNM or Portales or New Mexico State or New Mexico Tech or wherever you're going,
That's right.
All that seamlessly transfer. It's
It
just like
does.
you pick up right where you left off, and they worked really hard last 5 years.
Yeah.
I think about 4 or 5 years it's been going on now. They really worked hard to make that happen, and that's a game changer for a lot of students in trying to get their degree plans and not doing things that. For the second time, or you know what I mean, just to meet someone else's needs.
Right.
You know, it's
well,
a
and
huge thing.
That's a huge credit to our college for advocating for the work that they're doing with additional universities. I mean, we've got Mr. Stark even brought up a student there. They're not that went to Kenyon to WT, and they took and he had listed an amount of hours. I don't want to screw it up, but everything.
That's great.
Basically everything that they had done at this college, and again, what a testimony to them that their reputation is speaking for itself, out in that community. So,
yeah. And I think the business partnership and incorporated at the high school level and all that, I think that's on the level of game changer. I think is equal.
Right.
I think what that's doing for helping with kids with college and transferring and all that, this could help keep kids in school, direct kids to paths that they really can see, goal-oriented things that they want for them, and by default, they're going to be more invested in their own education.
Oh, absolutely.
because
And
of
if you're a business right now, you're listening to this, and you're just like, I want a piece of this.
Yeah.
And we haven't contacted you. Please get a hold of us. I mean, this isn't an exclusive club. We're taking any and all comers that want to help our kids.
This is a party we'd love to have more people at.
We'll make room.
That's right. Very good. Well, as always, appreciate the visit,
Yes,
Brian. Cannot thank you enough for keeping us up to date and what you and all of your staff do for our kids in this community. We do appreciate you.
Well, look forward to our staff getting a much needed week off.
Yeah, that's right.
So-
Give them a break. Don't let them enjoy their week. And
I would tell you the same thing.
yes. Oh, and I think I saw online that one of the board members, Hope Morales, had a birthday yesterday. So happy birthday to Hope. I think it was I saw that online there. So
Yes,
if you see her out and about, wish her a happy birthday. Thanks, Brian.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
Thank you.
All right.